made it back from Ireland alive. I haven't posted my mother's stories in a couple of weeks. I just traveling and this job, finding all these mistakes, issues. I don't know what it is about Ireland. I enjoy the people. I enjoy the family. I do not get along with that place for some reason. I was I was happy to come home and get back to work. To be quite honest. We spread some ashes. Had a little tea ceremony. I might even post some of it. I took a little video of it. I mean, it was nice. It was kind of embarrassing. I felt sort of bad because this place that Eleanor and her family used to go to is called Britta's Bay, and they stay at this little shanty house that hasn't been updated or renovated, I think, in 50 or 60 years. And the last time I was in Ireland, I think I was stuck there. I can't drive. I can't do anything. I wasn't happy. The sun doesn't go up and down. The sun just sort of goes across. It messes with my head. It's like my little seasonal disorder. Anyway, I wasn't real happy there. I'm sure I made an ass of myself. But that was Eleanor's. As maybe I'll post that video. That was Eleanor's baby. Wild beaches, wild sand dunes, wild grass, and similar to my experience, a little shanty cottage that wasn't much of anything. So we did a couple days in Dublin, and then we went to Britta's. Oh shit! It's been a couple days in Dublin, then we drove across the country to have a medieval feast. See a castle and then have a medieval feast. Well, my father would have blown his brains out because we went to a castle last time out. We went to the Braveheart Castle, and of course, the movie they filmed Braveheart, Mel Gibson, and all that. And it was a small group, and we had as my father would say, an interpreter. And he took us through the castle. Come here. Come here. He took us through the castle and explained everything, and we could hear it, and we could see, and it was actually quite educational. And I enjoyed that. But this other castle we went to a couple of weeks ago, it was madness because they had like an occupancy. There's 130 people allowed in this castle at one time, and no organization whatsoever. So the way these castles are designed, they're defensive strongholds. One interesting fact is they make the stairs spiral is clockwise because the majority of humans are right-handed, and if you are retreating up a stairway, you know, you can fight with your right hand as you're backing up the stairs, which your opponent has to fight with his left hand, which is kind of interesting. This particular castle was just like open range. It was kind of like it was like Jamestown or maybe Williamsburg, because they had all the little towns and little huts and all the shit that I've seen before 1,000 times. Because most Americans, a lot of Americans, were Irish. So it wasn't anything particularly new to me. But we got in this castle, no interpreter, no guidance or whatever, and people are trying to go from floor to floor, up and down these spiral stairs. You can't see around them. I mean, it was chaos. When you go halfway up a set of stairs and then somebody's coming down, and then you got to figure out who's going to back down these stone stairs that are 400 years old. Wow, that was a clusterfuck. But then to top it all off, which, on paper, when you hear it, it sounds pretty cool. That, you buy a ticket, and they have a period-themed dinner. They cook the food of the period. I don't know, 400 or 500 years, 600, whatever the hell it is. You drink mead and wine, and Irish bread, and so it sounded kind of cool, but when I went in that castle, it wasn't a huge castle, but it's basically all stone. And I couldn't hear myself think. And I got to thinking, if somebody said, this is where we're going this evening, we're going to have this meal. And I was like, holy shit. I said, I am not going to make it, and I know Sayer's not going to make it. Because confirmed he's autistic. And hell, I'm starting to think I'm autistic. I don't like lights, I don't like noises, I don't like crowds. But I was trying to be supportive and be the family man and all that stuff. And I told Ed, I said, we're never going to make it through this meal. We tried it. And we walked up to that place, and they had, the entertainment value or factor was quite good. They had the Duchess of whatever and the Duke of so-and-so and servants, and they all were in costume, and they played their part, and they come up and they greet you and they give you some mead, and they assign you a table. But that place got filled up really quickly, and you're in this stone dome. And people got to talking. They couldn't hear what everybody just got louder and louder and louder. And, I couldn't. Angela was sitting right across from me, and I'd ask her a question, and it's just like you couldn't hear anything. Sayer was losing his shit. I was suffering through it. We made it just about 2/3 of the way. he couldn't take it anymore, and I was just trying to hang in there. And I finally told him, I said, I gotta go. I just can't deal with this shit anymore. So we got up, left, sat in the truck for an hour. It probably would have been really nice if, like I said, if my dad had been the superintendent of that particular park or whatever, he'd have had that shit under control. That had a lot of potential. I mean, I think everybody else had a great time. Because it was rough and rowdy, and that's the way they wanted it. I mean, it was supposed to be like a bunch of drunken medieval people and beating their tables and cheering the king. And it wasn't my cup of tea. But anyway, long and short is, unfortunately, I'm glad to be back because for whatever reason, it's not a good match. Me and Arnie. But I came back, went back to work right away. Actually, that's not true. I got COVID. I still went to work. Landed in the middle of the night. Woke up the next morning feeling like shit. Took a COVID test. Had COVID. Called the homeowner and said, "Look, I got COVID. You want me to come out there or not? I don't want to give everybody shit, but I'm scared shitless. It's just gonna get fucked up worse." She had just had COVID. She and her kids. So she thought she was immune. Long and short is I went out there anyway. She sort of come to the conclusion we got to fix her out. I'm going to fix her ass, and it's not going to be pleasant by any stretch of the imagination. But we talked about it. I convinced her, or who convinced her, but we were going to get a third-party engineer. My buddy Randy, not we're buddies, yeah. But it's not like being friendly. It's not like he's not doing me favors. He's not going to let his professionalism be clouded by working for a friend. And I trust Randy. We've done a lot of stuff together. A lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of messed up stuff. So I talked her into getting a third-party inspector. I've been going through that house. I'm going to be posting a lot of these videos and just finding all sorts of stuff. And it's not purely cosmetic. It's not a matter of judgment or opinion, at least in my mind. It's some messed up stuff. And as I keep harping on, $4 million house, a $6 million house, an $8 million, it's going to be a $10 million house. And before we're all said and done and fix everything, it's liable to be $15 million. And you just don't do stupid jackleg shit. So she told me, she said, this is my forever home. This is my dream. This is for my family. The entire, I hate to use the word complex, campus or whatever, but that's their family campus, complex, plot, whatever you want to call it. That's for them and their children and their generations to come. And she in particular is just not willing or not interested in half measures. I asked her. I said, because we've been working our way through this process, trying to decide what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. What are we going to fix, what we're not going to fix. And, I guess as the stuff has started piling up, she started thinking about her, obviously her kids and her future. And the fact that this was going to be her home for the rest of her life. I'm thinking something clicked in her and she said, I'm not having any more of this half-measure shit. We're going to fix shit the way it's supposed to be. Because I got children I have to think of. And she's right. I was wrong for even suggesting that we're going to have to let some shit lay. And that was a mistake on my part. Because we can't let some shit lay. She's got 4 kids, 1 infant. And there is so much inattention, so much disregard, such a debacle. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, I'm sure someone would think that, but you just don't know what could happen that could potentially harm somebody. I mean, because there's a lot of potential. I guess the long and short is, I got the green light, I guess, so to speak, to do at least my best part to find these issues and solve them. Or at least find them and get the right people, the authorities, the right engineers, and the right... I find it, get the right people, and I'll fix it. But I'm not doing this Wild West engineering bullshit. So that's basically what I've been doing since I got back. It's going through that house as best I can. And finding potential flaws. Finding real flaws. And finding less than the industry standard flaws. Because it's a multi-million-dollar house. you shouldn't have any flaws. But she pointed out to me today, I can't catch everything. I mean, we're going. We're going to hit that house in the ass. Not just me. Not just Randy. But another engineer. We may miss something, we may not. But I told her I'm going to do my goddamnedest and give her my word that I'm going to do everything I can to make that fucking house right. Now, I keep thinking about that individual that was running the show. And all the resources he had at his disposal. I mean, there wasn't anything that he could not get or do to make that house that woman's castle. Everything. He had everything. Money was not an object. Professional engineers, it was all at his fingertips. As I said, this was one opportunity for that guy to shine. He absolutely blew it. Again, for all of his 40-year career. We're going to get it right. As I said, it ain't going to be pleasant. It ain't going to be fun. The insulation in my hair, crawling around that attic all. But it's kind of nice knowing, at least my career, it's nice to get somebody who not only tells you they want it right, because everybody wants it right. I shouldn't put words in. But at least in my mind, I know she wants it right, and I feel she will back me in my decision making to get it right. You do these little starter homes or even high-end homes, and there's all this politics and bullshit. Most of it revolves around money. And not that this job doesn't revolve around money. Because money is an issue. There's no amount of money that can justify a shitty product or a product that could potentially harm somebody. Or just potentially make you unhappy or miserable for the rest of your life. When you put this kind of money into a project, you ought to get what you paid for. and she hasn't. But she's going to. And it might take a little more money, and it might take a little more time. But so long as I got anything to do with it, until I get fired, she's gonna get what she wants. Anyway, enough of that. So, before I sign off, a little tribute to Eleanor. Apparently, I'm the only one that had this, or has this, poem that she wrote. Sort of proud and honored that she gave it to me. And I found it purely by accident, looking for another story to read my mother. But I found it. We thought it was appropriate. I thought I was going to have to read it at the little tea ceremony, but Angela summoned up enough courage and she read it. It's short, but it's kind of poignant. Anyway, so before I go, I'm going to read it. This is called A Prayer for the Generations by Eleanor Kaiser. Often our lifelines break when we are distracted with living. We strain with grief to mend those familial chains. Then, in ourselves, we find the metal of inheritance, passed on to us with care. We pray for souls, turn to ritual, search for signs. Then beneath us, we find deep footprints to follow in. We inter our fathers, bury our mothers, entomb our elders, and some generations pass unseen into the night. They showed us wonders, told us stories, passed on their dreams. We hope that what we love in them lives on in us, and it does, in our children. So Catherine, Eleanor, they're looking to pass on what they got. And so we remember them. I'm trying to connect these two dots. I'm not going to let Kat pass on a piece of shit house to her children. Eleanor didn't pass on a giant ball of shit to Angela and myself. Even though I don't like Ireland. Anyway, I'm going to try and get back on my Sunday morning routine. We'll see how that goes.